Hello, it's time for the Aramaic of the week. We are about to get to the end of the interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Nebuchadnezzar saw a statue with a gold head and then silver shoulders and then bronze torso and iron legs and then feet mixed of iron and clay. And Daniel's giving the interpretation of this dream. The gold is Babylon. The silver is either the Medes or the Medes and the Persians, depending on how you go with it. And then the belly would be the Persians. If you go with Medes, then Persians. If you go with Medes and Persians as the silver, then the belly would be the Greeks. And then when you get to the legs, the iron, if you go with Medes, Persians, then the legs would be the unified Greeks under Alexander the Great, for example. And then the feet, which we're now just getting to, would be the divided Greek kingdom under the Ptolemies and Seleucids. Of course, a lot of people, well, many like to think of the feet in terms of the Romans, but anyway, not important right now. Let's go ahead and translate this verse 41. Vadi kazaita raglaya. Oh, here's a big one. Va'etz ba'ata. And then we have a kativ kare, a lot of kativ kares where there's a corrupted text here. Uminahain is how it should read. Kasaf di pekar. Okay, so D seems to mean of, or at least the best way to translate the D seems to be of in a lot of these places here. And of the feet, ragla ya, the feet. So regal in Hebrew and in Aramaic is feet, foot at least. And then the yod is plural, feet. And then kamatz aleph is the feet. And then the verb here, and of the feet and toes that you saw. There's a that in there, I guess. So kazayata. Kaza is the to see or to have a vision. And then the ta is the second person masculine singular, because Nebuchadnezzar is he's a you in this case, and he's a masculine singular you. So, and of the feet and toes that you saw, this is going to be just a pa'al, the basic perfect stem, call stem, we would say in Hebrew, G stem maybe to bridge both languages, the unbridled pa'al in Arabic stem, second masculine singular, perfect. And of the feet and the toes. So va'etz ba'ata. Kamatz aleph is the, and then this is a very long word for toes. I assume that it's feminine plural because of the tav here. I should look it up, but I'm not going to. But anyway, and of the feet and the toes you saw. Now this is min, which is from, and then the hain is them, from them. And so this is miswritten in the text. It should be a yod instead of a vav. So this is what it should have been. But the text is corrupted. The Masoretes, didn't want to mess with the text as it was received when they copied these in the 900s. So they left the kathiv, they left it written defectively, and then they put the vowels for the how it should be read. All right. So and of the feet and toes that you saw, partly or from them, or partly, kasaf, clay, D, Picard, not Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek Next Generation, but Picard. Clay is kasaf. Let me go ahead and get the English translation. Clay of a potter. So they're partially of clay, these feet and toes, head, shoulders, knees and toes, feet and toes, feet. Anyway, okay. So they're partly of clay and partly, I didn't do the Kathif Kare for this, and partly parzel, partly of iron. So they're mixed. The toes, the feet and toes are mixed. And again, probably I would say most scholars would go with the legs, the iron legs being the Greek, the unified Greek kingdom, and then the mixed feet being the divided Greek kingdom that resulted after the death of Alexander the Great. You have the Ptolemies in English and in Egypt, and you have the Seleucids in Syria. Which one is iron and which one is clay? Well, if this is picturing the early 1st century BC, at that particular point in history, the Syrians had the upper hand. Prior to that, in the 200s BC, the Ptolemies had the upper hand. I would say that for most of Jewish history in that period, in the Hellenistic period, the Ptolemies in Egypt had the upper hand. But for a brief window of time, the Syrians had the upper hand. Well, it's more involved than that, but I'm going to leave it with that. So partly of clay from a potter and partly of iron, Malku, the kingdom, Paliga, the divided kingdom. So Paliga is divided, and then Malku is kingdom. Malkut in Hebrew, Malku in Aramaic. And I think Kamatz Hay is a variation on the in Aramaic. We've seen it before. All right. So, and of the feet and the toes that you saw, partly of clay of a potter and partly of iron, they will be a divided kingdom. So this is the verb to be, and then it has a tav on the front. So I'm assuming that's again a second feminine singular to go with malku. Kingdom is feminine. Kingdom will be, and this is the G stem, the basic stem. We would say pa'al in Aramaic. Umin, and from mizbata, from the strength of the iron. Okay, so the iron is strong of the toes, but the clay is not. So, and from the strength, so Kamatz Aleph is the, and then Nizbat is strength here. D, Parzalah, from the strength of the iron, Leheve, Ba, to be in her, from the strength of the iron that is in her. This is the infinitive construct of Haya, to be. And then Ba is in, and Hey with the Mapik is her. From the strength of the iron that is in her, that is in the kingdom, is feminine. Kol Kavel D, I translated that as all you saw, according to all you saw, something like that. D Kazai Ta, that you saw, according to all that you saw. This again is going to be, this is the same, we saw this form up here, didn't we? Where did we see it? I thought we saw, oh yeah, up here. So this is the vision word again, the iron you saw. So the tav is second masculine singular, from kazah, to see a vision. Parzalah, the clay, the iron, I'm sorry, ma'arav, mixed, ba kasaf, with clay, tina, the clay. I mean, both of these words mean clay. Tin is clay, and kasaf is clay. Clay is big in Babylon. They have multiple words for clay. So I went with what Interlinear Bible had here. I think I found it there. The common clay, clay of clay, with the clay of the clay. In other words, with common clay, the feet are mixed. All right, so let's put this all together and get a sense of this. So Daniel's gotten to the feet now, and of the feet and the toes that you saw, partly of clay from a potter, and partly of iron. That will be a divided kingdom. And from the strength of the iron will be in her, according to all that you saw, the iron being mixed with common clay. Now this me'arav is a participle. The mem is in both Hebrew and Aramaic is an indication of a participle, and the shavah underneath is an indication of what we would call a D stem participle in either language. In Hebrew, it would be the piel. In Aramaic, it's pa'el. Now, normally this would be a doubled second letter, but reshes don't do doubling in either language. Sorry, that's not in my contract. So it is a pa'el stem, a D doubling stem, but this particular form of it's not going to double because the resh is stubborn. All right, so now that we've got the vision, Daniel has laid out what the vision is, what the vision is. Then next week, we're going to talk about what the interpretation of the mixed toes vision is. Well, that was a struggle, wasn't it? This has been the Aramaic of Zavik.